I didn't even see the whole movie.
No, you didn't. I had to wake you up.
So
Hey,
boring.
you're distracting me with your loud breathing. Hey everyone, I got Glenn here,
Hello?
and we just got back from watching Mission Impossible 16. 16, Mission Impossible Super Fallout Extravaganza.
Exposition extravaganza.
Action, exposition. Action, exposition. Glenn, what did you think of Mission Impossible 6, Mission Impossible Fallout?
Is that the title? You gotta say Mission Impossible twice.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Really?
It was mediocre with a few good action scenes and a lot of just stuff I've seen 1,000 times in other movies and other Mission Impossible movies, quite frankly. Car chase, motorcycle chase, Tom Cruise running, Tom Cruise punching, bombs need to be diffused, cut the red wire, cut the green wire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it was horrible. Certainly not the worst thing I've ever seen, by far. But just kind of boring and same. Nothing new. Did you like it?
I kind of liked the first half because there was a lot going on, and the action scenes were filmed in a way that was exciting, and the cinematography, everything looked great. A lot of the stunts, it was hard to tell if they were on green screen or not. Like, they looked really authentic, whether they used a mix of the two, but either way, it looked technically really good. And everybody was fairly charming, but as you're trying to follow the story and you're piecing it along, and as you're going, about halfway through, you start to realize this is just a convoluted mess. You don't really know anybody or care about anybody.
It's like all of them.
Yeah.
They're all pretty much like that.
It's just all about the gadgets and the action and the narrow escapes.
I didn't even see the whole movie.
No, you didn't. I had to wake you up.
So boring.
Hey, you're distracting me with your loud breathing.
So bad.
Well, was there anything you did like?
The action.
Action was fun.
Here and there. I mean, the last, whatever, half an hour, it's all cliches, but it was well constructed action stuff, except for the stupid helicopter cliffhanger scene.
The ending,
totally stupid.
That's something I want to hand it to
fake.
The writer, director, stunt coordinators, that throughout the film, when they were doing action scenes, it was exhilarating. Just the story and all the exposition in between was really boring and kind of nonsensical. But until the very end, they managed to make the Mission Impossible almost impossible, but they were not quite impossible because Ethan Hunt could overcome most situations. And all the scenes were fairly fun, and I could buy it. Yes, a little crazy, a little over the top, but I could buy it. And the very end, they just went wild and crazy to where it really loses all reality.
Yeah, what you said. Exactly. I don't know.
Well, yeah, the ending was exciting, although a little over the top, which they wanted to, top everything else was going on in the movie. But I mean, now we're definitely talking spoilers. The Hook holding the helicopter over the edge catches the rock.
It's like a little cargo hook. It's not like a grappling hook. It's just a little cargo hook that you would put on a cable or a chain or something to lift cargo, which is what they were doing, I think.
Right, so if it catches the rock once, you think to yourself, oh, okay, wow, what a 1 in a million chance, right? Then that 1 in a million chance happens again as it catches another part of the rock, and then again. And then it catches Henry Cavill in the face. I mean, it's like the magic hook. It can catch everything on the way down. like I was with the scene, give me a fun action closer, and then I go away thinking, yeah, not too bad, some exposition, but that ending, I was, oh, come on, now you're just going over the top with it, and you're not giving me a lot to care about throughout the movie, so I'm just thinking, okay, why catch the rock again? Just let it go. I'm ready for the movie to be over.
Yeah, I was getting flashbacks of Sylvester Stallone and Cliffhanger with that ending. The helicopter hanging off the cliff, fight, and it looked more real in Cliffhanger. And
I haven't seen it in years. I can't verify that.
It's not good, but it looked more, to me anyway, it looked more real. And it was miniatures and stuff that they were using. But it's like this fakey fake cliff, like this rectangular shaped or square shaped cliff that has a little groove in it here so the helicopters can slide down and
I was getting, during that scene, I was getting flashbacks of Peter Jackson's King Kong, where King Kong's falling down the vines with all the dinosaur creatures.
Yeah, the acrobat scene.
And then the same thing in this. You got the helicopters perfectly sliding down the cliff and getting caught in a groove, and then, yeah.
That's right. That's writery, like goofy writery stuff that whoever, was in charge should have said, well, let's try and make it have it make a little more sense and not be so outlandish. Like it looks planned that there's this little thing that choppers can go down. I don't know.
Well, okay, so besides the ending scene, what about just the overall plot of the movie, which is just there's a group of people that want to set off nukes and blow up the world for just because.
It's been done.
And you have every agency in the world backstabbing each other, the Americans
and the masks getting pulled off. What'd you think of the masks? I know you loved that from the first movie.
It's very
or
goofy.
Two.
But it's their thing, right? It's like some super alien technology.
They got away from it in one or two of those previous movies. Right. They got away from that a little bit. And it helped. Like, I think Ghost Protocol was actually a little bit better than this, where he's hanging from the building.
Mm-hmm.
That was like something unusual and different, right? And this is just like chase scene, car chase, motorcycle chase, and a Superman character. Basically, he can't be hurt. Momentarily, he'll limp a little bit, and then he's fine. Then he's running again.
Well, yeah, people
or
take
he's fighting again, and never like a drop of blood or anything. It's just Superman.
Yeah, he takes a beating, and other characters take a beating, and then they just get back up and they fight again, almost like superheroes. I mean, that's kind of these movies.
Well, there was it seems like there's this PG-13 thing where you can't show blood, right, or minimal blood, and then there was the scene in the bathroom where the I forget the guy's name, but the Asian guy they were fighting gets one in the head. And there is a giant pool of blood on the floor, and as they drag him into the stall to hide him, and I was like, wow, that actually showed some blood in a PG-13 movie, but it wasn't on somebody. Maybe that's the difference.
Well, they cover him up with a jacket and drag him in.
People get hit. The woman got hit in the head with a piece of like a log, and she had a little cut. Not even a little blood coming down, just a little movie cut. It's just so fake. Phony.
Alec Baldwin got stabbed by Henry Cavill, and you see him pull the knife out, and it's perfectly shiny.
I was probably asleep during that.
Not a drop of blood on it, and I almost missed that awesome scene because you were sleeping, and I had to nudge you.
So boring. all the double crossing, and Jesus Christ, we've seen it so many times. How many times are they going to make this movie? It's just the same thing.
Let's talk positively just for one moment before we close this up. What was your favorite moment or scene in the film? Did you have one? Could you remember something that you kind of liked?
Not anything other than, well-made action scenes. They were well-made. It's just like, okay, how long is this car chase going to go on? Well, it's good. It's well made.
Well, that's the filler.
We're going through the narrow streets in France and in between things, and motorcycles and a little BMW, and it's cool, but and then we get to stop for a boring exposition scene where somebody explains what they got to do next, and then someone double crosses each other and they run and run.
I just thought of something else. What did you think of the scenes in the movie that were really interesting and catastrophic and would have had real meaning for the storyline and the world, except they didn't really happen and it was just speculative or it was a dream? Like nukes went off and that was just a dream. And
in the beginning, the dream he had. Well, I knew that was a dream, so that wasn't a disappointment. That was actually probably the best scene in the whole movie, I think. That opening scene where he's there with, I think it was Michelle Monaghan, who he was married to, and they're doing their vows, and there's beautiful mountain setting, right? And they're doing their vows, and there's a preacher, and we don't see who it is. And the dialogue of that scene where he's like, "Do you take this woman to betray and to ruin her life," and Tom Cruise is just like, "Stop. And at that point you're like, oh, this is a dream, but it's good.
It's a good dream.
Like that was, thinking back, that was the best scene in the whole movie. From there it's downhill. That was the opening scene.
Well, so there's one other scene. It's where Tom Cruise is joined up with a gang of people to kidnap another criminal to trade him for the nukes. And during that scene, he has to play a bad guy in the eyes of this gang. So they go on a mission to kidnap the guy, and they have to kill a bunch of cops to get him. And then Ethan Hunt almost gets shot in the back by this one young police officer. He turns and shoots, and the police officer falls down, and he walks over to him. We see it's a very young guy. He pulls his gun up. All the gangsters come around expecting him to shoot the guy because he's supposed to be this, ruthless criminal. Brings his gun up, shoots him. He has to because he has to maintain his cover as a bad guy. Mm-hmm. And I thought at that moment, wow, that's great because this is going to wreak havoc on him as a character because he's going to be now emotionally distraught with the decisions that he has to make for the greater good. And that would have actually brought some really interesting, dynamics to his character. And then we cut back to the room where he's discussing the plan.
Yeah, that was him supposing what would happen if they carried out the plan.
But they made it like it was really happening, and then he goes up.
And you're like, ooh, that's a good scene, and then, oh no, it didn't happen though.
The line he says, they cut from, he just shoots the cop, and they cut back to the room, which is like the night later, the night before, and he says, so your plan is to kill a bunch of cops? It's like...
I get that scene. It was kind of bad, but it's all about his character. He is like the good guy.
Right, he has to find a way.
He is the good guy. He will not let someone die if he doesn't have to. Backed up by the scene later where the female cop gets shot.
That was a great scene, because he had to kill some guys, but they're all bad guys.
They're bad guys. Yeah. He's saving a female cop, so, he's a good guy. And now she's made him, she can ID him, and all of them,
What would have been more interesting for me is if he had to kill that one young police officer, the male police officer, because that scene really happened, and then later he saves that female cop. That's so much more justified by him having to have just killed the cop.
Yeah.
Because he goes over to her and he kneels down beside her and he tries to help her stop the bleeding, and he touches her face and he just says, "I'm sorry." And it's such a great moment. It was probably my favorite moment in the movie. But it could have been even stronger and meant something more for his character if he had to kill that other cop in the previous scene instead of it just being a what if.
Yeah, but he's the perfect character, right? I mean, he makes mistakes. There were failures, but the mistakes are because he's a good guy.
Yeah, right.
He's not going to let Ving Rhames die in the beginning, so they lose, a bunch of nuclear cores or whatever they were.
Yeah. Because
he's a good guy. He won't let his team die. It's like, but that's not how it works in that world. You got to be willing to go beyond. And this is Disney-fied kiddie spy movies. This is what these are, and they always have been.
Yeah.
So,
PG-13. They want a big crowd, right? They want.
Well, what isn't PG-13 nowadays? James Bond movies are
Deadpool,
PG-13.
They took the chance.
Well, that's exactly. It's a different thing entirely.
Well, so lots of problems, lots of good action, a couple of good moments that I really enjoyed, like the one with the female cop. Missed opportunity with the young male cop, which was just a what if. What's your grade? Honest grade, not frustrated grade. I know it put you to sleep a little bit, but
This is just another Mission Impossible movie. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't particularly good, and I'll never watch it again. Probably. C.
Yeah, I have to give it a B minus because I was enjoying it until we would transition back to the next exposition scene, and it had a few moments that I enjoyed.
There were a lot.
And I wanted to give it more like a B or a B plus, but too much exposition, the what if that would have been better if it had happened, and just the over the top ending, which just had me rolling my eyes. I know it's Mission Impossible, so you give it for the fun, but it's just a little too much.
At the very end, it's all about dismantling these bombs and cutting the wires, and then the screen goes white like the nuke went off. And I was thinking, oh, there's no way they're going to do that. And he's really far away. He could survive that. And no, it was just, I don't know, a fade to white scene to fool the audience.
It's a Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movie. Everything has to be happily ever after.
He can't fail in the end, for sure.
Like
he
a
can
James
fail
Bond
a little bit
movie.
in the beginning, like Rocky, but he has to come back.
So you said C, right?
Yeah.
Well,
For now, see,
well, that's just your first digestion, right?
yeah, I don't think, like I said, I don't think I need to ever see this again. Maybe even, I would put it lower than maybe that movie, the other one, I think it was Ghost Protocol, which had some really nice scenes and didn't have so much of the mask stuff, which this movie had its share of. But yeah, see, I guess go see it if you like these movies.
They're fun, but you're not going to get like a fulfillment where you think you've seen a great movie.
There's just nothing that you haven't seen before, and there's nothing that's going to wow you unless you're wowed by action scenes. Which
some people are.
They were decent, so yeah, go see it. I'm wrong. It was an A+.
A+.
Is that right?
16, Mission Impossible Super Fallout Extravaganza.
Exposition extravaganza.